Hello, hello, beautiful souls. Welcome or welcome back. We are going to have a conversation, probably a little bit fun one today, talking about sign synchronicities, maybe signs of what a download might feel like or look like. And we'll just see what wants to come through that information. So we're going to welcome in all of the elementals: earth, air, wind, fire, water, ether, earth, air, wind, fire, water, ether, cleansing and clearing the space. As always, we only welcome in our team members, those beings of unconditional love and light, into the space, always for your highest and best good, through and with divine light, divine love, divine truth, divine power, divine wisdom, divine knowledge, divine remembrance, and divine magic, and call upon your team members to assist you. So we're going to talk about colors that have been coming through, maybe some spirit animals that you're seeing or will be seeing, crystals, specific elemental energy that's coming through, okay? And as always, we, the team, suggest that you take some time, and if you're seeing colors on repeat, being guided to wear specific colors on repeat, guided to eat certain colors, food of color, if you're seeing the colors, if you're feeling the colors, if it's coming in just like randomly through your day, your team showing you specific colors. And again, I'm very tapped into this rainbow frequency, so a lot of color for me, but specific days might be stronger. This whole month has been this very golden, dark, deep green color that has been coming through, so maybe you resonate with that. And again, that correlates with the equinox and spring and renewal, rebirth, reborn, this transformation, transitioning from winter to spring. So and then animals like elephants, owls, foxes, wolves, maybe even the unicorns, the dragons. So all of these things are ways that your team will try to get your attention. Crystals, you might be seeing crystals or information around crystals. Maybe you listen to a reading and someone's talking about a specific crystal and it piques your intuition and you feel, am I guided to work with this crystal? Do I have this crystal? Do I need to get out and start working with this? Dragonflies are also significant, lotus flowers. And then the other thing that I've been really having fun with is these colors that are dropping. What archangels are associated with specific colors? What ascended masters are associated with these specific colors? To know that maybe that's your team. If you don't know directly, maybe it is an indirect way that these ascended masters are trying to get your attention through not just people talking about a specific ascended master like Kuan Yin or Lady Portia, Mary Magdalene, Yeshua, Ganesh, the elephant, Babaji, Buddha, Sananda. All of these ascended masters are usually connected. Isis, you have your Egyptian gods and goddesses, ascended masters. They're associated with specific colors typically. The rays of light, right? There's different, like the violet flame, Saint Germain, and different things like that. So this is a way indirectly that your team is trying to get your attention. All right, so get curious. So I've been really curious by getting these colors and frequencies coming in. What is it associated? What ascended master is working with me? I always say, okay, what ascended master is working with me right now? So we've got this purpley, this dark violet color. What ascended master is currently working with me? Write it down and ask for your team. You can write it down and speak it out. Say, please show me which ascended master, which archangel is deeply associated with this violet color, this deep purple color. And I ask the universe to show me through signs, synchronicities, and key codes in all the ways that is in resonance for me, that I know that it's coming from my spirit team. So this is a way for you to start participating and interacting with your team. All right, and I'm going to share an experience that happened yesterday. It's confirmation. Okay, regarding a starseed that's 2.5 years old, that is the great niece of my significant partner. Okay, so he has been getting the signs of synchronicities and key codes, and he's been learning about this and becoming more aware of that through our relationship of almost 8 years. So 8 is significant as a number as well. As today 8s and 7s are coming up, and we'll talk about that a little bit. But get curious if you're seeing 8s and 7s and numbers adding up to or breaking down to these specific numbers, because there's, again, everything can be a sign of synchronicity key code. It can be another clue or a puzzle piece on your specific treasure hunt, on your specific scavenger hunt. And this is what this is. And the more you're aware, the more you can play along and have fun with the universe. And I'm not just, I'm talking about all the questions and things that you're requiring answers for. Command it, demand it, don't beg for it. Command this, command it loudly, speak it out loud, okay? So before we go into anything, I want to share this example because my team, his team, her team, amazing. So he was going to go visit a family member, his nephew and his great niece, and she's 2.5, and she's a starseed. We know that. She's I think she's part of the rainbow crystalline children that are incarnating, as well as my grandbaby, who's about a 1.5. She turned 1 in November. She's also part of this consciousness that is incarnate. Okay, she's brilliant, this 2.5-year-old. And just his conversations with her, he goes, I just don't like, that's not what we would consider normal for, I'm like, because she's coming in, she has come in, these children have come in with a higher frequency, coming from the 9th dimension above is what's coming through, with a higher state of consciousness. And you're going to find their gifts and abilities to be online, on point. They are locked in. They have less distortion or zero to no distortion because we've been clearing it for them to be able to incarnate without all of the karma and the bullshit and the programming and the conditioning in the generational lines. That's why a lot of us have come here to clear this for these new, I'm going to just continue to say star seeds, earth angels, whatever you resonate with, these crystalline children, these new states of higher consciousness that are incarnating now and have been for a few years now, and even up, you know, there's different stages and waves of this. So I always remind him to pay attention to how she's communicating with you. And I personally know this because I just know shit. They don't see each other very often, but there's times where she's communicating with great grandma, but she's asking for her great uncle, and he's out of the country. I said, because you're communicating with her in the higher realms. He goes, well, she shouldn't know. I don't hardly see her or talk to her. I said, well, not in the physical reality, but clearly she's connecting to the fact you guys hang out in the higher realms. This is why she's looking for you and asking to speak to you, because you guys resonate on a frequency and energy that she might not typically, more than likely, resonate with anyone else in the family's frequency and energy because they're of a lower vibration. That doesn't mean that that's better than good, you know, or anything like that. That's not what I'm talking. It's just everything's frequency and energy. And this is why these children are drawn to us to either work with us or just get curious and look at you. And, you know, all of this stuff is because you are holding a higher frequency and energy. So they aren't going to bother typically unless they're sharing their frequency and energy for healing, because that's what's the healing aspect, or their quantum magic with other family members that are at that lower vibrational frequency. Okay, does this make sense? We're 8 minutes in. 822 is significant. Okay, 22s are significant. So it was either yesterday or the day, it was actually 2 days ago. I actually had a conversation with her higher self. I just spoke it out loud, just walking around the house. I said, hey, so let's have some fun with Uncle. You know, he's coming to visit in a few days. You guys are going to get together. A couple things, you know, just let's have fun. He's, you know, he's more tuned in. He's getting these signs, these synchronicities, these key codes. I said, let's just have fun and just show him how this works, how this magic works in the quantum. And I don't know her that well. I actually, in this physical reality, I don't have like any relationship at all with her, right? But again, that doesn't mean that there's a higher relationship in the higher realms. Soul family in other ways, or just, yeah, okay. We're not going to make your head spin too much. We're just going to give you the facts of the physical evidence. Right? It's fun to have the physical evidence sometimes of what you've commanded, what you've manifested. This is a manifestation co-creation with the higher selves. All of them. And I said, hey, you know, through colors, through frequency, maybe even mentioning something that would be in correlation to me, like what would represent me, just to confirm this interaction. You know, I had this conversation, you know, just to maybe show your uncle, you know, in some way, shape, or form that he can understand through sign synchronicities and key codes, and in ways that he can share with me as physical evidence. All right, does this make sense? I'm kind of all over the place. So I had this conversation out loud to the highest. And so yesterday they had their family get together, you know, just did my thing here. I was, we're not going down. I wasn't there. If you know, you know. And everyone was getting ready to leave. And like, I said, she's 2.5, almost 3. And very intelligent, emotionally intelligent, but also verbally. She communicates verbally very like an adult in a tiny, tiny human. Okay, very just free, open, expressive. And great grandma uses a rollator to get around. And the rollator was somewhere where she couldn't see in the back of the house. And everyone's getting around and they're by the front door. And she verbalized that doesn't grandma need her cart or whatever she used. And everyone just was like, no line of sight. She couldn't see it. Again, she's 2.5. She's aware that great grandma needs this to get around and she's going to need this to go home. And as a reminder, so she was reminding the adult who forgot that this was needed. And he's like, well, she didn't need a line of sight, babe. She just knew. It's that clear knowing. She got a psychic hit. However that was, that came through for her at 2.5 to verbalize that you need to grab that before you go. All right. And just, you know, when you go into the depths of it, and I'm like, all right, there we go. And he's aware of that. Not everyone else is like getting it. Like they just don't get it. And I'm like, this is why we are here, to continue to create space for these little ones to be able to express and not just suppress their gifts and abilities. Because they're psychic as fuck. You're psychic as fuck. You've just been suppressed your entire life. Okay? Now you're just turning on and up and ramped up. They're coming more and more in line. And so that was the first thing. The second thing was before they left, she presented, again, 2.5 years old, I'm going to continue to remind you of that, not quite 3, a gift, which was a painting that she created for uncle and great grandma, great uncle, great grandma. And yesterday morning, as we were sitting here having breakfast, we were late. Actually, it was before we got laying in bed. A few colors came through as a significance to go down, and I did a little bit about in that video. If you're seeing the specific colors and then tying them in, like I said at the beginning of this video, into archetypes, archangels, colors, and frequencies that you're being guided to work with, to tap into, or if you're seeing them just as another confirmation that this is your intuition's on point, all of this. There's so many ways you can go about this, okay? Just get curious, have fun, and play with it. Be creative with it. See what unfolds. Or get that lotus flower, which is connected to Kuan Yin, okay? This, again, now I significantly know I work deeply with Kuan Yin because she's kind of telling me about the color pinks, different colors of pinks. Lotus flowers come up all the time. Lotus flower was said again this morning. Just all of these different signs, synchronicities, and key codes. These are just small examples, and we'll talk a little bit about what I journaled on this to share if I get to that. And he literally looked at the picture because he remembers our conversation. I pulled an oracle card, talked about play and adventuring, and just turtle had a lot of oranges and greens and pinks and blues and purples or something like that. And the 3 main colors that came through yesterday was like pinkies, purpley violets, and like a yellow gold. The yellow golds, again, the royal colors. There's that purple, that violet, and those golds are very royal type colors. So you may resonate with that. And he remembers these things. Like whether he acknowledges it, he remembers. You know, he's got an active third eye. And we talked about, you know, these colors that were coming through for me. Now see, the past version of myself wouldn't have verbalized that. Now I just I share it. And it'll land and it'll be remembered where it needed to be. And this was a perfect example. He went on his day, and this was late in the evening, and he calls me. And she had given him a painting that she had did, that the main expressive colors were pink and purples, and the third color was orange. Now the orange is associated because orange has been my favorite color for as long as we've been together. So every time he sees orange, he associates the color to me. Anytime he sees the number 22, he associates the number with us. Okay, he also wears a lot of orange. So in this conversation to her highest, I said, if there's a way you can show uncle, great uncle, an expression that's connected to me, even though I'm physically not there, and it goes, this is our connection, not necessarily the physical connection. She incorporated the orange color. Now this has already happened. Like, who knows when she made these paintings? Because this information came in. I had this conversation a couple days. I don't know when she made the paintings. This is how the quantum works, and this is so much fun. And he just called me, and he was just so fucking blown away, because instantly when he looked at this picture, in that moment, someone else that was in the space instantly picked up his reaction and his connection to everything that he was given prior to. I didn't tell him about the conversation with her highest until he confirmed the physical sign synchronicity with me. 15:55 on the timer. Okay? So, this is how you can, there's nothing to prove. You're not here to convince, but if you want to play in the quantum, play it this way. You're the operator of the game. If something happened, great. If not, great. Well, guess what? Two things happened to prove that she's very clairvoyant, claircognizant, clear knowing. She just knows shit. And she proved that at 2.5. And then she presented a painting that was created with 2 of the 3 colors that came to me yesterday morning. And the 3rd color was my favorite color that he associates with me. Does this make sense? There's a reason why we are guided to share these fun experiences, because it just to share to the collective that this shit is real. Magic is the most realest thing ever, right? It's everywhere, all right? Light and dark, all right? But play in the realm where you can have fun. Let your inner children play. And that's what we did. We co-created this. The 3 higher selves, the team members, all created this for his experience. And maybe for the other people that were aware of the expression and the connection, because he was asked what, and he explained exactly that. She drew a card, these are the colors. And I said, I keep telling you I'm psychic as fuck. I can't tell you, I can't give you proof. We just gave you proof. She gave you proof. I gave you proof. You made the connections, right? You allowed that creative, that play, that fun, that curiosity to step in, right? And trying to figure it out. The ego wants to figure it the fuck out, and it's not going to figure it out. So this is how you can have fun and play. So play that with your kids. Practice telepathic communication with your kids. Maybe ask for a few colors and then say, okay, and you want someone else to see these colors. You know, same thing. You know, tap into their higher selves if you get permission. You know, you can just have that conversation out loud and say, hey, can we get together and play along? Okay? And again, it's always for the highest and best, and it's for fun, and it's not to harm anybody, right? This is the point. And there's your proof. There's your physical proof. She presented him with a painting that she created that had the 2 of the 3 colors that dropped in. Again, yellow was the 3rd one, yellow gold, and you can interpret that any way you want. But the 3rd color was a color that was deeply connected to me. Like, he knows that orange is, so when he sees orange, he knows that's a sign in synchronicity from me, my highest. Same with the number 22 and other numbers like 1111 or 14 now, different things like that. Have fun with this in the most playful way possible and see what happens. Nothing might happen and it's perfect. Something might happen and it's a chef's kiss. When we got off the phone, I was laughing. When we were on the phone, I was laughing. I was crying. I was like, oh my gosh, chef's kiss. Round of applause, like, for everyone involved, all of the highest selves, all of the team members, the universe, just amazing. I just exclaim this happily, joyfully, thankfully. That's have fun with that. Just because I can't see it, touch it, feel it, doesn't mean that it's not there. That's just this physical 3D reality. That's part of this experience. All right. So yeah, I wanted to share that. And we're just going to, I guess, keep this video and I'm going to do another video on downloads, signs, synchronicities, and key codes, and keep it light and to the point. So have fun, play along. You don't have to force things or convince people or chase people down to convince them. You just stand in your authenticity. You speak your authenticity. It'll land where it's meant to land. It'll be remembered where it's meant to be remembered. And your experiences as being placed into other people's reality for them to see, to know that, holy shit, this is real. She might really be what she says she is. Divine, galactic, cosmic, interdimensional, multidimensional, omnidimensional, infinite, eternal, cosmic, I think I said that, consciousness, spark of the divine, source incarnated, having an experience in a physical avatar here in this 3D reality. Tapping in to 112 on the timer, tapping into gifts and abilities that have been suppressed that are now coming online, being amplified. I don't need to prove anything to anybody, but if the universe and the teams want to do that, give me more. Give those people that are in my physical reality more. Right? Be you, stand in your truth and your authenticity and speak it. And you speak it because it's coming from your source within. It's coming from your quantum compass. Not speaking in a way that you're trying to convince someone to believe something else. We're not here doing that anymore. Okay? This video is going to stop at 2202. We love you. See you soon. Bye.